This next handout is part of it is in your handouts. It's a poll worker voter script, and there'll be fresh copies for you when you come see me on June 1st. But this is the script we want to follow when talking to voters. As you're looking at this, you probably are thinking to yourself, we already do this, right? We already do these things. But we want to make sure that we are doing things in a certain order. Which I want to stop for a minute. I want to talk about, been doing this now for 13 years, and I've kind of been a person who heads up the precincts and the polling places and the hiring the workers and so on and so forth. And so I've gotten to know you guys pretty well over the years. And I've always treated you as an individual precinct, or an individual business. I've always treated Bev Whipple and her precinct as an individual business. I've always treated Mr. Welch as an individual precinct, individual business. The same with Linda and Rose Marie, all individual precincts. Where if Bev had a problem, I didn't care if I treated that problem and then moved on. I didn't worry about if Linda was having the same problem. I worked the solution, fixed it, and moved on. With these new laws coming into place and with people not quite understanding what we're trying to do, we need to get away from being an individual precinct, and we need to come together and become a group of 177 combined precincts. Basically what I'm getting at is we need to get away from being an individual and we need to become a franchise. So we're going to become the McDonald's of the election business. We're going to be a franchise where everybody's saying and doing the same thing. Where the menu at West Des Moines Christian Church is the same as the menu at Clearwater Lake Clubhouse. Where they're asking the same questions at Covenant Presbyterian Church as they're asking at Community of Christ Church. Asking the same questions in the same order, in the same process. Okay, and I real quickly want to talk about this because I want to make sure if we're all doing this together, then we can combat some of the issues we get of, well, why are they asking for this over there at St. Tim's, but they're not asking for this over there at the West Des Moines Fire Station? Or why are they asking for an ID right now over here, but they're not asking me for an ID right now over there? And the first thing that goes through my mind is, well, how do you know that? But believe me, in Altoona on April 3rd, somebody asked that question. They're asking it this way at the Altoona campus, but they're not asking it this way at Altoona Christian Church. How come? Well, that's a good point. We got to figure out why. So now we want to get into the habit of asking the same questions to the same voters in the same way. And so it goes something like this. Number one, first we're going to greet the voter. We do that already, right? Good morning, how are you? Good afternoon, is it still raining outside? Good evening, how's the weather? Is it nice? We're going to greet the voter. We're going to, be polite with them. And then we're going to ask the voter for their name. We may need to have the voter repeat their name or ask the voter to spell their name. One thing I learned from working in Altoona on April 3rd is that voters like to mumble, right? Yeah. They like to mumble. They like to talk fast like me, right? So may need to politely ask the voter to repeat their name or what have you, but we want to get the voter's spelling right. We want to make sure that they're in their book. Notice here, I've not asked for an ID yet. I haven't asked for it yet. We're going to, not yet. So number three, once we have greeted the voter, asked for their name, and we've looked them up in our black book, we'll get to that in a minute, we're then going to have the voter verbally verify their address to us. Can you please verbally verify your address for me? We want to make sure that the address that they're verbally telling us matches our record, which we'll get to in just a second. Still haven't asked for ID yet, have I? Haven't got to that point yet. Notice right here, there's a little blurb here that says, if the voter tries to give you their ID at this point, politely say, we will get there. I have to ask you a series of questions first, and we'll get to the ID. Now, I'm not naive, I'm not stupid, I've been doing this a while, and I sat through the Altoona election, and I saw it, and there are some voters that have their ID out, and it's like they're being dragged by it, I mean that's kind of like how it is. I get it, I understand that. And there are some voters out there that they come in with their hands in their pockets, looking down, and they're just waiting to be told what to do, right? All kinds of voters. We're going to follow our script, okay? We're going to follow our script. I know you're thinking to yourself, well, using the ID makes it easier to look up the name. That's what you're probably thinking. Or maybe some of my poll workers don't hear so well, and they can use that to look up the person's name. All valid points. All great ideas. All things we will talk about in 19. But in 18, we're going to follow this script right here. Okay? So we're going to greet the voter, we're going to ask for their name, we're going to verify their address. Now this is a primary election, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but now we need to make sure we get the voters right party, right? Primary election. We'll discuss how we do that in a second. But we got to verify the voters party. And once we do these 4 things, the 5th step will be, may I have a form of ID to see, or do you have a form of identification you would like to show me? Okay? And this is where this poster comes into play. Okay? So this is what we're going to focus on